Who's the host for the mostest?
Okay, folks, can I have everyone's attention, please? It's not on, it's on for the YouTube channel. Oh, that worked. Okay, now we've just had just to answer a couple of questions first. All the links, the PowerPoint presentations that you've seen, will all be uploaded to the Dogs Victoria YouTube channel. Okay, so you'll be able to download Lee's notes if you didn't get a copy. The PowerPoint presentations from Lorna and Kerrie will be there, and you will be able to view them. Now, please respect the person who's done all the work and don't share it. Okay? Don't copy and paste and take it. Okay? Let's be honest about how we treat it. Okay? Now, what we're going to do now is just show the DVD that Lee was not able to show first thing in the morning. It only goes for a couple of minutes. We're just going to show that, and then we'll be opening up for your questions. Okay? So there we go. Isn't it wonderful? I'll press...
First through their tongue, so they use the tongue as a balancing point, and every piece of the dog's body moves independently. So when you see the dog jump down from the tailgate, you will be amazed at how the pasterns bend. The elbow almost hits the ground. So what you don't see with your real eyes, you will actually see on the video. So this is just, is that on slow motion, Sue? Look at the way the dog is actually moving. To get that head up, he really has to change his balance point. So it's a very hard thing to get a dog to work with its head up that strongly, but we love to see it, don't we? Great attention. All right. Now, you'll see the small dog jump down out of the car. Very quick, you don't notice much. Same dog, slow. Brachycephalic. Now in really slow motion, so how physical a thing is that for your dog to do just to jump from the tailgate? See the head bobbing down and the tongue coming out? Yeah, it looks hurtful, doesn't it? Now, very graphic with the golden retriever. Watch his tongue. Then we go slow. Then we go really slow. See the head bends down to give the dog forward propulsion. And every muscle in that dog's body is about to work really hard. And look at the pasterns as he hits the ground. So look at the bend in that. And look at the rear feet. So he really comes down on his back legs. You would not have seen that with the naked eye when you see it in normal time. Okay, we can stop there, Sue. Right, I wanted to start with that because that tells you that if you don't raise a fit, healthy puppy, not overweight, not underweight, well fed, well bred, you stand every chance of having a fit, healthy dog that lives to 14 or 15 years of age. But if you don't do your research and you don't raise your puppies like this, put them through, imagine that in an agility trial, if you saw that over 18 to 20 obstacles, that dog is working powerfully hard. So if you have a well-fed, well-raised, well-bred puppy, you stand a really good chance of having a wonderful 14-year-old dog and no vet bills, which is exactly where we're aiming at. Right, I think we're ready to do the panel now. Yep.
Okay, so what we're doing now is opening up for questions that may or may not be related to what you've heard today, but are related to perhaps what you are trying to understand or get help from as instructors. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions, just please put your hand up because we want to record them so that we can. You can play it back and listen to the wonderful, wise answers. Now, you can direct it to anyone in the club. I'll just introduce Kerrie. Do you realise you've been pointed to? The handsome gentleman at the end there is Greg Bobbin. He's our one of our master instructors and assessors, and Lee volunteered that he would answer the questions as well.
Question for anyone in the panel. My name's Ruth. I'm an instructor at a regional dog club. I love clicker training. I work with working dogs. I've heard two theories, that you load the clicker before you start using it, click feed, click feed, click feed, or that you just start using the clicker and just during thing. I just wanted to check with you guys what's the latest info on, do you prime your clicker first or do you just hop into using it?
Okay. Kerrie and I have just decided we've got different answers. Okay, so my answer would be, I always load the clicker first. I'll take 10 pieces of food in my hand, I'll scatter them on the floor. As the dog or the puppy eats each piece, I will click, and when it's finished, I stop clicking. That just loads the clicker without having to do anything. The dog is just going to pair the food with the clicker. Simple answer from me.
Yeah, and that's the scientific way to do it. I'm a lazy trainer and I don't load the clicker and it works. I don't know if Gypsy out there has ever been clicker trained.
No, she's had words.
Yeah, so that was the first time she'd ever heard the clicker, and you all saw it worked pretty well without loading. So
it would depend on your dog and the circumstance and your handler, I'm guessing.
it probably depends on the skill of the handler too. She's not the first dog I've clicker trained. Yeah, so there's
Yeah, both ways work.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So you make it work for you.
Probably a beginner. Yeah, probably a beginner.
Hi Lorna, Amanda from Western Port Dog Obedience. I was just wondering if you omit the stay command, so you go sit or drop or whatever, I understand the process that the dog has been told to do something, you leave, right? Do you omit the wait command, like we still use wait and stay?
No,
So you would still use the
I
wait?
use wait. I'm a very contrary trainer, but I found it works.
Okay, yep, just curious.
Yeah. It's just, I think stays have got, it's a big learning thing to ask a dog to stay, I think. And I really like the security, and the recall wait comes, I think, after they've done the stays quite well. Yeah. I'm contrary like that.
Okay, my question is, if you were to teach a dumbbell retrieve, what method would you use? And I'm going to probably ask each of you. What's your favourite method?
Which one?
you
I
do a
have gun
dumbbell
dogs and
retrieve.
shelties,
How would you
and
teach
gun dogs are supremely easy to train because he's meant to be a dog that picks up game, yeah? So the easiest way I've ever done it is presented a dumbbell to a dog and the dog's taken it. I've gone, oh wow, aren't you lovely, thank you very much, and fed the dog. So that's a really simple thing to do with a very willing retriever. But if I've got a recalcitrant dog who has no confidence in retrieving at all, I might shape it. Do you know what I mean when I say shaping? So I'll do successive approximations. With another dog, I might do a play retrieve. I might put it on a string and get the dog to chase it, and as soon as it picks it up, you know, praise, click, reinforce, whatever. So it all depends. Those 3 words are really important. So you've got to know your dog. If you want to be dogmatic, did I just say that? If you want to be dogmatic, you can work through any of those processes and they will all work for you in the hands of the right trainer. Yeah.
I use the approximation. I shape it from start, from the finish first. Yeah, but you look at
Back
it.
chain.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Having collies, I back chain because collies will throw things at you and then reverse to their working distance. They won't want to bring it in because it's not polite to be there. So I shape the back chain.
A back chain.
You can also sit on a chair and back chain.
I do
That's how
that.
I
Yeah,
do it.
sitting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sitting is really good because the dog comes to you.
Can I throw something in as an observation? I've got a young dog at the moment, and I could not teach her to retrieve. She would not hold a dumbbell. This went on for months and months and months until I found out she had something wrong with her throat. She required surgery, and she now retrieves beautifully.
Yeah, so keep your eyes
So
out.
keep-
Health.
Yeah, don't assume.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, if you're going to make a comment, feel free, but if you don't use the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just reminding you, I can pick on Bobby because I'm not.
The question from Bobby was she had a dog, a Rottweiler, who would not retrieve. She tried it for quite a long time and eventually found the dog had a medical condition in her throat. As soon as that condition was cleaned up, bingo, she could retrieve. So don't assume.
My question is, do you really need to teach puppies healing? Like, I love the way Lorna taught the healing, but do we really need to teach puppies that? At our club, 90% of the people that do puppy class, probably more, are just pet owners and they have no interest in going on. And so my question would be, could you not teach it later?
Well, like I said, the puppies are open books. Write the right thing in them then. I mean, you don't have to teach it as, let's go walking across the paddock with heel, but let's teach a position because that 10% might need it. Yeah. And that's, so I like to teach the heel and give a reason because, you know, you might need it one day down the street. But you don't have to overdo it. But why not get them when they're at that really peak learning time? I get really excited by puppies because they can learn so much so quickly.
Window.
Yeah.
The way I do it is to teach positions. So rather than marching up and down, I'll teach the dog to come into a sit position, to come into a front position, to do a finish left and right, sit, stand and drop in various positions on the platform. So then when the dog has got all those things, then I'll put it together into some formality, but not with a baby puppy. I'll wait till they get a little bit physically stronger, mentally stronger. But in the meantime, I will do loose lead walking, which is basically somewhere close to me so I can walk through a crowd and I don't have to have a dog leapfrogging and dragging and pulling me. Yeah?
That was nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Question for Lorna. I missed it out on the grass, but when you did an exercise in a heel pattern, whatever, and you asked for a command and the dog did it, you then took another 10 paces or so before you actually rewarded the dog. What was the purpose of the delay?
That's, yeah, you'll get clicker trainers fighting over this topic. I don't know why people that use one tool can fight, but they can. That's because I like to use the marker, the clicker, as, yes, you've got it right, that's absolutely perfect, but I don't reward because I want them to extend the behaviour. And so I'll take those extra 10 paces, well, I'll build up to 10 or 20, and then I will reward. Because the click is a promise that a reward is coming. I don't want to say, wow, good, and then stuff the food in straight away, the reward, because I want to extend it. Yeah, if that makes sense. Not really.
No, that's perfect sense. But you wouldn't do that when you're first starting off with a younger dog?
No, No, you take your one step, or do your position, like I said. I teach the position, mark, treat. And then I might do one step, mark, and treat. And then I might do one step, mark, one step, treat.
So you build it up.
You build it up very slowly, yeah. And get it right. You've got to get it right.
A slightly different question. It may have been a dog park or it could be a dog club. If you have two dogs which get out of control and lock onto each other, what would be your recommendations for getting them apart?
How long's a piece of string answer?
Yes, I know. How big's the dog?
You have
Where's
to be
the
really
others?
careful. If there's two dogs fighting, there are 5 stages in a dog fight. One is experimental. I push you, you're going to push me back. The other one is, okay, you're going to push back, I'm going to try and pin you now. And it goes through 5 different stages before it becomes dangerous. Don't mess around. Get in there while it's not dangerous and separate the dogs. Be really gentle, just hand on the collar and very gently ease back. Somebody else, if you're on your own and you've got 2 dogs fighting, that's a really different thing. There's so many different ways to do it that I don't want to go into all those ways now. But remember that each of the stages of the fight become more and more determined. So it's an exploratory to start with. Are you bigger and stronger than me? Are you going to fight back or are you going to give up? And if the dog on the bottom gives up, well then that's really quite easy because you can just go in and move them. But I've still got this is a matched set after all this time, and I'm never going to compromise that. So you might shout for help. You know, you might get somebody else to come and help you. But you've got to be, one way that's gaining a bit of popularity is to loop your lead around the dog's body and draw your dog back while somebody else draws theirs back. I'm not convinced that that's a good way to go. But you could put one dog over a fence and have the other dog on the other side of the fence. Depends on how big they are. If they're a pair of, I don't know, mastiffs, I think I'd possibly have a problem flipping one over a fence. You can use a gate on the fence to shut one dog out and one dog in. There's lots of different ways to do it.
I see you more on open ground. I was told ages ago, your timing's got to be right, so to grab the dog's back legs and lift them up and pull them apart.
Yep, that can work, but there are 2 dogs. Yeah, so if you disable one, the other dog will be enabled. So it takes 2 people to do that, unless you've got, very long arms that you can do that. Dog fights are horrible, so I really work at preventing that. Rather than
I was just about to say I'd rather not.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Look for stiffening.
I'm probably the same boat. You just got to be cautious about breaking them up. Yeah. People get bitten all the time trying to break up dogs' fights. You get all sorts of stupid. Things like throw buckets of water. I'm like, good luck with that.
2 slippery dogs. Yeah. So lots of different answers. Can I say it all depends what the level of the dog fight is. It's quite easy to break up quickly, but once you've reached that 3rd level, 4th level, look out. A friend of mine had her English setter attacked by a dog in a park, and she was absolutely amazing. She twisted the other dog's collar and choked it. So she twisted the collar until the dog started to stop breathing, and then yelled at somebody to grab the other dog and take it away. And then she realised she'd slipped a disc in her back. She had 3 months in hospital. She nearly had to have a laminectomy on her back. At the time, she didn't notice it. She was so involved in helping her dog. She didn't get bitten, nobody got bitten, but it was only her sense of mind that she was able to get hands on the collar of the other dog and twist it. But let me tell you, putting your hand near a face of a dog that's biting, first thing you're going to do is let the dog go and get you. So you have to be really, really careful. So I guess prevention is much better than curing. Yeah. Okay.
No more questions.
My name's Tom from Mornington Obedience Dog Club. What would you recommend to say to handlers who, when you give them instruction or give them advice, they say, yes, yes, I'm doing that, but they're obviously not?
There's not much you can do. All you can do is present information to your clients, and if they take it, they take it. You know, we can't force them to do what we recommend. If it's a real problem client with a problem dog, I'd probably send them to a professional dog trainer, because once they start paying, they start listening better. That's it, all you can do.
Can I say that it's a little bit in the skill of the instructor? Somebody made a comment this morning that I should go over to London and argue against Brexit. If you're a politician, you learn how to manage people. I'm not a politician, but there are ways of talking to people and there are ways of talking. So if I do this and I confront you and I say, well, look, you haven't listened to a word I've said, you're an idiot, what am I going to achieve? So there's ways of talking to people and ways of talking to people, and if you have the skills to be able to get them on board, ask questions. You know, I understand that you have tried this and you feel that you've tried everything. Let's see if we can find a different way to do this. So rather than being confrontational, look for a step sideways and find solutions and work through those solutions rather than just say, oh, well, if you've done everything, I can't help you. Because you can find ways to do that. You're clever, instructional people. So there's always an answer. It's just up to you to find the personality and the way that suits that particular person. Yeah.
Use successive approximation on them too. and say, well, can you do this? Think of something that's off the radar a little bit, but can lead to what you want them to do. And just say, can you do this? And they, oh, wow, he does that so well. Are you sure he can't do that other bit? And then get them to do that other bit that you want them to do. Mm-hmm. And they'll go, oh, I said, wow, that was amazing. You and the dog are so good.
Yeah, there's a politician.
Just a quick one to you, Lee. Lee, the video with the jumping out of the back, I know at the finish you said, you know, if they're a fit dog, they should be fine and they should live to 12, 14. Is there any comment to say, you know, we shouldn't really be asking them to do that jump out the back of the car?
Question is it fair to ask a dog to jump out of the back? Is it fit enough and well enough and can it do it? There are a lot of ramps available that if you've got a big dog, why would you want your big dog to hit the ground hard repetitively? So there's little ramps that you can slide into the tray of your ute or your cabin, and you can walk the dog down it. Now, I've got dogs ranging from 38 kilo to about 5 kilo. So would I let my Sheltie jump down from that tailgate? No way. Would I let my German Shorthair Pointer jump down from that tailgate? Absolutely not, because you run the risk of repetitive strain injury. Now, you could say that a fit dog can do that easy peasy. Yeah, but what age are they? Do they have any prior ailments? Have you not noticed that the dog is carrying an injury? So my way of doing it would be never to let a dog jump off the tailgate and hit the ground.
That sort of makes me lead to an awful lot of things that happen in the agility trial.
Yep. I've got also some footage of an agility trial, and you would be shocked to see how bendable your dog's body is. Now, my husband and I designed the first agility equipment in Victoria and used to provide it for royal shows and stuff. We made sure that the footing on it was really good. We always made sure that it was safe equipment, solid enough that it didn't bend and sway when it shouldn't. So the dogs were very confident. I had 8-week-old puppies doing dog walks. Just for fun, you know, I didn't ask them to do it. They would just go up and down the dog walk and scare the life out of me. But they were able to do that. So would I force them to do it? No. If my dog is fit and healthy and I have regular chiropractic on my dog, then I would do agility. But I would be constantly checking to make sure that my dog was fit and healthy enough to do it. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Hi, my name's Frank. I'm from the Moorabbin Obedience Club. I'd like you to have your opinion on the different types of collars and leads that are used for training, because there's slip chains, there's flat collars, there's the normal tag collar. We've got martingales on ours. Do you have any preference? The reason I'm asking for this is there's one person in our class whose dog wears a jacket and the lead is attached behind the head, above the shoulder blades, and she absolutely refuses to put a collar on the dog.
So it's like a body harness, you're saying?
It's a body harness.
The question is what sort of lead and collars and harnesses and things will we use on dogs?
Yep.
What would you do, Kerrie? Not that I'm putting you on the spot or anything.
The one thing that I worry about as far as that goes is some of the harnesses cross the front of the chest in the wrong place. And so a dog's front legs has no bony attachment to the rest of its skeleton. It's attached only by muscle. When they take a step with that front leg, the actual shoulder blade moves forward. A lot of the new anti-pull harnesses come across the front of the dog and interfere with the movement of the shoulder blade, the movement of the front leg, and so the dog then carries a lot of load through its back because it hunches. And yes, they work, they don't pull, but I think in time that's going to be uncomfortable and painful. It certainly can have chronic issues down the track. So that is my one thing, is those harnesses that cross across the front of the dog, they're not in the collar, they don't have the strap down, they just cross across the front of the chest. I don't want to see them on a dog at all, particularly dogs that pull. Everything else, I think it's a tool. In the right hands, most things work okay. I try and keep my dog in a positive emotional state, particularly when I want them learning. So anything that might be seen aversive by the dog, and that's going to change depending on the dog, I want to steer clear of. So, you know, sometimes my dogs are a bit hard to handle when they're young, and sometimes I pop a halter and a head collar on, but that's short term when I don't have time to do the training, the loose lead walking, and it's only in the young dogs, and then I progress to a flat collar. And that's, my dogs pretty much live in their flat collars. They compete in them, they wear them down the street. That's it. I don't have a competition collar. It's just a collar, it's a flat collar, because if your dog can walk nicely, it can walk nicely. But head halters I use if I need them. Yeah.
As long as it complies with government legislation, the rules and regulations of the Dogs Victoria. So they're all tools, you just got to be used correctly.
I start baby puppies on a martingale because little eels that are baby puppies can balk, drop their head out of a collar and be off across a freeway. So the martingale is a circle with a little circle on the top fitted properly. There should be not much play in it. And I just routinely use martingales. Whippets, greyhound breeds can get their heads out of just about any collar except a martingale. I never ever use a correction chain. I never use any of the other collars that you can use. So simply for me it's a martingale, and I start with an 8-week-old puppy on a tiny little thread of a martingale, and they graduate up as they come up. So my skill as a trainer then is not to allow my dog to drag me around, to walk relatively loosely beside me, but I do not want to use anything that has any level of aversive in it, because I'm already building an emotional state in the dog that I do not want to go there.
I don't like head halters because I've used them. It's not the equipment, it's the people at the end of it. There's a lot of neck damage done by people that still have, human beings again. It's those human beings that still have that reflex. And so the dog's heads go. And that's really bad. So I have my dogs in flat collars when I can get them. When I rehomed a really big, ginormous German Shepherd, I couldn't hold him, and I resorted to the dreaded head collar. But I was open-minded because it works, and it worked for him. I had it on him for a month and got him onto a flat collar because I double-leaded him, and so it would hit the collar, and then if he didn't stop pulling, the halter would come into play. So it's definitely the person on the end of the tool that's the issue, but yeah.
Going on from that, do you think that instructors should really be teaching people how to use correction collars and halties correctly? Because I've seen so many people who don't know how to use them properly. And if we're going to teach people how to do, or how to look after their dogs, which is a big aim of it all, Why don't we have that as part of the lessons?
We should, yeah.
One of the issues that we have is there's a lot of rescue dogs that come in, and I think Frankston Obedience Club has a lot of rescue dogs. These are dogs with no skills. They've been rehomed for a reason, and people come along and they say, oh, it's cute, it's got brown eyes. The shelter says, yes, this dog has been temperament tested, and you get it home and it's a maniac. So that's when you have to work really hard at teaching the dog how to work with you without using compulsion, because often that sort of dog, if you compel it right from the word go, it will bite you, or it will make every other move to get away from you and not engage in what you're trying to do. So understanding that some councils, there's a major rescue operation going on, and you go to a dog club and you have to deal with that dog. It has no skills, it probably has some emotional problems as well. So I still would always only ever use a martingale. That's my tool of choice. We're all nodding wisely.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Those monkeys.
Yeah.
Okay, so will we thank the panel, please? Okay, that closes the workshop. This is the first workshop we've done, so the learning curve has been somewhat tight. It was interesting with cables with technology, that's all I'll say. If every computer had the same plug, it'd be lovely. Okay, so just a reminder, if you are planning on sitting the written exam, you must have your application in by the 20th of September. Okay? No late applications, because we need enough time to verify that information. Okay? Secondly, if you live a distance away, or there's some other reason that you cannot sit the exam at KCC Park, then if you make what OTEC consider satisfactory arrangements, you can do that exam elsewhere. Okay? So some people might do it down at Gippsland, because there might be some master instructors down at Gippsland who'd, not that we'd put them on the spot. Okay? Just to give you an idea, we have had one person who is actually going on holidays, and they want to sit their exam on holidays in Denmark. Can I say that if I was going on holidays in Denmark, I would not be sitting the exam in Denmark. I would wait 12 months. But anyway, they want to do it. It's you. You're coming back for it. Because I've wanted to go to Denmark for so long, you wouldn't believe it. There's a long story. I'm going to talk to you about Denmark. Okay, so I thought that you were going to do it in Denmark. We're getting all ready for it. No, we're not. Okay, so, sorry, I'm so tired. I'm not thinking. Okay, now, if there are other workshop topics that you would be interested in, then please tell us. Because we want to add to the toolbox, as Linda said. But if there's something specific that you would be interested in, then we will look at doing that. Now, could we just have a show of hands who would be interested, say, if we ran these, say, twice a year or something? Who would be interested? Oh, goody. Okay. Looks like we've created a monster, haven't we? Okay. All right, well, there's only one other person to thank, and that's Sue Murray, who has answered 500,000 emails about this and has done a wonderful job, because I went off on the gun and just said, "Here you are, Sue. I'll see you when I come back." And so she's done an absolute wonderful job, so thanks, Sue. Okay. Okay, so that that's the end. So you can all go home a whole 10 minutes early. And because you've going home 10 minutes early, if you would really like to stack your chairs, please not against the doors. Not against the doors. We need to open the doors. But if they could go down this end, not near the AV equipment. Thank you very much.